I'm here at the Toronto Screenwriting Conference with Oscar-nominated writer David Shamoon of In Darkness. Thank you so much for speaking with us, David.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, we were talking briefly before we started the interview about how screenwriting is actually a second career for you, and that your first career was in advertising. Do you want to speak a little bit about how that career, that experience informed becoming a screenwriting later on in life?
Yeah, I had my own agency for a while, and I wrote for television commercials as well as radio commercials and print advertising. And so I was comfortable connecting the written word with images, which is essentially what screenwriting is, of course. So that helped me, but there's quite a difference between a 30-second television commercial and writing a 2.5 hour film. So that was something that I had to learn. I had to educate myself on. But the other thing that actually just occurred to me is that I was an entrepreneur. I had my own agency for a number of years, and I worked directly with clients. And I think that's something that screenwriters need to be as well, is entrepreneurs. You're in business for yourself. So that really put me in very good stead for this career.
And what prompted you to make a switch in your career?
It was a gradual switch. It wasn't suddenly one day I woke up and said, oh, I'm going to be a screenwriter. I actually started it almost as a hobby, to see if I could do it, and it sort of grew from that. And for a long time, I continued doing the advertising as well as the screenwriting, even after I had sold some options and things like that. But a few years ago, actually, is when the transition sort of happened, where I sort of said, okay, I think I'm going to devote myself more to screenwriting.
Now, there seems to be a misconception online in a Wikipedia entry that this is your first script ever, but that's not the case.
That's not the case at all. No, I wrote a number of scripts beforehand, and then I had a few of them optioned, a couple of them optioned. I also wrote on assignment for a studio, and so, I had that background. This is the first produced screenplay. And as any screenwriter knows, getting your, a screenplay produced is almost like winning the lottery. It's like a miracle, really. So I've been very, very lucky.
And did you have any idea when you were writing, when you were shooting, even after with the reception of the film, that it would go as far as it did to get an Oscar nomination?
No, and of course not. I mean, first of all, when you're writing it, all you're hoping for is for someone to read the script. So that was the first thing. And then, once they read the script and, I got producers on board, Canadian producers on board, then you're hoping that someone will direct it, and then you're hoping someone will finance it, and going through all the steps. While you're involved in that, that's all you're thinking about. You're not thinking about, oh, the Oscars or anything like that. So, no, this is all beyond anyone's wildest imagination.
And what's your biggest piece of advice to young, middle-aged, second career, aspiring screenwriters?
I think the most important thing is to write something that you care about, that is close to your heart. I just heard Robin Gurney from Imagine Television, and she was talking about how important that is with television. And I think that's true of any kind of screenwriting, for television or for films, for feature films. I think it's really, really important to write what is important to you, because if it's important to you, you will make it important to someone else. And if you take me as an example, I mean, I wrote about something that most people would say, would be interested in, yet another Holocaust story, or, and also it ended up being in all these foreign languages, and yet, when you stick to sort of what is important to you, things do tend to work out.
Well, thank you so much, and congratulations on the success of the film, David.
Thank you. Thank you very much.